派出所有规定要求，就是我们要知道你们外宾就是从哪到哪去，要有一个这。
Pretty basic. This is pretty much the cheapest accommodation that I could find that would take foreigners. Oh, she's sneaking in to get a photo. The street has a cat theme, including a cat's ass.
5楼到了，电梯上行。
哎，你好，这是丹凤酒店吗？
对对对。
我要办入住。
住宿的是吧？拿。
我在网上订了。
好，把你的那个证件拿出来。
外国人的办入住是不是麻烦一些？
对。
不好意思。哦。没事，我不急。
好。
你吃午饭了没？
我正在吃。
正在吃，好，麻烦你了。
不麻烦。我来稍微等一下，我先把这个拍下来啊。
好。
这个。
那我就坐一下。
你坐一下，坐一下。郑涛，他人还在啊？那个他这个护照的正面，我马上拍照是直接拍给你还是怎么弄啊？来，一会儿我们那个护照要复印啥的，复印好然后给你，你先休息啊。
没事，就扫你这个码是吧？
对，就扫我这个码。
好，行。
100，我开个收据给你，到时候退房的时候会退给你啊。
行。退房是要几点钟退？
最迟中午12点。
12点哈。
对。
支付宝到账100元。
您是本地人吗？
是的。
那有什么地方有那个叫什么？
南京最代表的中山陵。
我是说吃的那个盐水鸭。
盐水鸭基本上都还行。
都是比较地道，那个味道
都还可以，都
差不多。没有什么特别。
餐厅的话，我看看。要告诉你不太好找，
是吧？
但是不太好找。但是你如果要有兴趣的话，我觉得你应该可以去找一下。就是我找一个，你可以特意，我写一个给你，你可以特意他们家的那个鸭子做的还是好长时间了。就是有一个叫安乐园，他那个早茶那个早点都不错，就包子啊、面条啊，他那个店开了100多年了。反正你可以进去看，他那个早茶各种各样的，有那种他们家注意是清蒸的，就是牛肉啊、牛肉包啊，然后那个鸭胗那个烧麦都不错，
是吧？
他家的盐水鸭也不错，你可以中午去。
离这里远不远啊？
我看看你应该坐什么车，或者刷个自行车，骑过去你自己找。就是我们南京本地的特色。
那就不是很远了，可以骑车过去。
可以骑自行车，你用那个导航过去。如果要是想吃那个，就是锅贴。锅贴是很不错的。是吧？对，他那个锅贴也很不错。我带你写一下，你到时候自己去看。
好的。谢谢。
对了，还有一个，你上一站是从哪里过来的？你上一站你是从哪里过来的？
上一站是在武汉。
武汉过来，从武汉直接到南京的还是啥？
是武汉直接来这里的，对。
武汉过来的。然后那个你在南京玩2天是旅游对吧？
我的那个签证是探亲的，因为我老婆是这边的人。探亲。
然后打算几号走啊
？5月2号的飞机。
2号就是直接回新西兰还是啥？
对，是先回武汉。
还得回武汉他下武汉来武汉还得回武汉。留联系方式。联系方式是电话报给我们。
好，行。170，
因为这个派出所有规定要求，就是我们要知道你们外宾就是从哪到哪去，要有一个这个点，我们要知道这个点。
对，我知道那个要求还比较高的。
这个门卡给你，你先到501房间休息，我们弄好了然后给你啊。
好。I'm in my hotel. They are still sorting out my documentation because being a foreigner means lots of requirements. Well, what did I get for my 430, I think? 60 odd US dollars for 2 nights. A bed, a seat, a dresser, a work area, a kettle, a bathroom. Unless they got travel toothbrush because I forgot my toothbrush. Some art and a TV. Pretty basic. This is pretty much the cheapest accommodation that I could find that would take foreigners. You can kind of see why a lot of them don't take foreigners, because there's a lot of hoops to jump through, basically, in terms of registering with the police, how long you're staying, where have you come from, where you're going next, all that kind of information. So yeah, the places that are cheap tend to not want to go through the hassle. So there were places that were a lot cheaper here in Nanjing. All of the 7-day inns and whatnot, they don't take anybody but Chinese citizens, so makes their life easier. And here's the view. Not bad. I mean, there's no hand soap. Could use some hand soap. Right, all checked in, dumped a bunch of the gear in the hotel. Finally got that sorted. It's already 2:30, so I figure it's a bit late to go do something big, but there is a museum which relates to a guy who set up a rebel kingdom with its capital here in Nanjing because he thought he was Jesus' brother and ended up killing tens of millions of people. It is one of the wackiest stories in Chinese history, and the museum is just down the road. So let's jump on the subway and see if we can't find this museum to the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom.就一张票吧。
全月票是吧？
对。
手机付还是现金付？
我就用手机吧。
好，稍等一下哈。
好。
多少钱？
哇，你的中文说的很棒。30付款码这边。要不要扣？
好，谢谢。
市民卡票申请。市民卡票申请。欢迎光临。
If you haven't heard of the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom before, I wouldn't be surprised, but the scale, the magnitude of the conflict that took place in the kind of mid-1800s, which is kind of getting towards the end of the Qing dynasty, with the leader being a dude who claimed to be the brother of Jesus. It's on the same kind of magnitude as World War I. I think the estimated death toll is between 20 and 30 million people. And the capital of that heavenly kingdom ended up being here in Nanjing. And this is the guy who started it all, Xiuquan, guy who claimed to be the brother of Jesus. Now, part of the backstory with this guy, Xiuquan, goes is that he failed the civil service examination multiple times. He wanted to be a civil servant, basically, which is a surefire thing to a nice career, but he kept failing the exam and ended up finding the words of some preachers and getting pushed into the world of Christian beliefs. Eventually he had a dream in which he believed that he was, as I said, one of God's own children. He also believed that the ruling Manchurian Qing dynasty were essentially devils who needed to be expunged. So he started preaching, gathering followers, and it became a rebellion which took over large parts of the Chinese mainland. And yep, they were even in Wuhan, where we just left. To help put down this rebellion, they even enlisted the help of some foreigners. This guy, American Frederick Ward, was the leader of the ever victorious army. Now, the ever victorious army were a group of kind of foreign trained and led Chinese soldiers who were often put into battle against these Taiping rebels. Because they had pretty good training, they actually managed to have pretty good success in helping put down the rebellion. Now, to say these Taiping rebels didn't like the Manchus would be putting it mildly. They basically killed every man and woman they could find that was Manchurian. Sometimes they were burned to death. When they thought they were devils, they were speaking in the literal sense of the word. Now, sadly for these Taiping rebels and their heavenly kingdom, as they got more successful, their boss man, Xiuquan, this brother of Jesus, he grew more suspicious of those around him, and eventually there was a big purge in which that infighting kind of destabilized the Taiping kingdom itself. And in its weakened state, it was only a matter of time until the Qing forces were able to get on top of them again. Now, eventually our man Hong ended up dying, which kind of happens when you take part or lead a failed rebellion. After he died, he was kind of buried with all the honors of which a heavenly king should have. However, the Qing, who he had rebelled against, were not going to let him rest. After they had succeeded in putting down the rebellion, they exhumed his body, cut off his head, and had the rest of his remains shot out of a cannon, just to make sure he would never find eternal peace in pieces. I definitely haven't done it justice. Just know that it was an absolutely mad period of history. I mean, this map shows the scale of how much territory these rebels took when they started their journey from Guangxi in the south, conquering all this territory, kind of central plains, Hubei. Here's Wuhan, where we were this morning over here, and then all the way Hangzhou. Shanghai is the place they besieged but kind of weren't able to take. 原来他们把南京的名字搞到天津吗？天津这是什么地方？
对，这是原来叫天津，不叫南京，这是南京。原来就是现在不叫这个名字。原来的名字。怪不得。
This also seems to be a popular spot to take photos. There's lots of girls dressed up in very pretty dresses, and a few boys dressed up in suits as well. Ooh, I'm in somebody's photo. If you haven't noticed, this site is both the memorial kind of hall to the Taiping Rebellion, but also there's some just gardens, a bunch of I think it's Ming Dynasty gardens. So the gardens, to be fair, seem to be more popular than the exhibition, I guess, because it's prime spot for taking photos. Oh, she's sneaking in to get a photo of that butterfly. You're not supposed to walk on the grass. Butterfly sitting right on those pink flowers. Oh, she's really going in for the kill. Oh, she spooked it. She spooked it. She got too close. And then here's some princesses coming, having taken some photos here at the beautiful gardens. Wow, we came at the right time. Goodness me. I kind of assumed this being a museum to a rebellion for a dude who thought he was like Jesus' brother would be quiet, but yeah, that's pandemonium. I think it's the pictures. Just looking at some of the people in the line. Right, now that we've seen the Taiping Rebellion, we're going to finish off the day, hopefully, with a quick look at the Nanjing Eye. Jump on the subway, and then I think it's going to be a bit of a walk or maybe a bike ride, but Hopefully we can see the river and some beautiful scenery.
欢迎光临皇太牛牛杂每日现熬牛肉草本汤。
One thing Wuhan has over Nanjing, there's more escalators out of the subway stations. Nanjing, most of these stations are steps. This little square looks like it's seen better days. Half the places are shut, but seems to be a couple of clubs, so maybe it's more happening at night. But yeah, this is as close as I think we could get on the subway. Now we either have to walk or try and find a bike. And steps. Nanjing loves steps. Right, so it's 3 kilometers. It's more than I fancy walking. So let's see if any of these bikes up here I can scan with my Alipay and get riding. The orange ones they don't have in Wuhan. Those look like they're a Nanjing specialty. These ones I've never seen before either. I was kind of hoping for hello bikes because I know I can use those. Amongst all these bikes I managed to find the one hello bike. So let's get riding. Some lady just asked me directions. I literally just got here, so I wasn't able to assist. They've also got some kind of tram over there. I've seen one of those before in Wuhan, but I never went on it. Now usually when you think of these places like the Eye, London Eye, even the Wuhan Eye, it's a Ferris wheel, but the Nanjing Eye is a bridge, which looks pretty cool at night, and given that it's after 5 o'clock, we may be able to kind of see it illuminate, change from day to night, but let's get there first. There's a sign up there for where we're going, which says Nanjing Eye Pedestrian Bridge. You probably can't read it, but I can. I think we've inadvertently come to kind of the financial district, because this is all big office buildings. There's no little shops. There's no apartments. It's all very fancy. Sadly, it's not quite the clearest day here in Nanjing. It's a little bit overcast, although it's raining back in Wuhan, so that's at least one step up from rain. I'll take overcast any day. Right, I've left the bike there because it's only 700 meters to get there. Now I don't want to get stuck in a spot where the app says I didn't park the bike properly, so sit here for a second, get ready to go to the bridge, and try not to eat Burger King. Try. The street has a cat theme, including a cat's ass and then a cat's face. All sides of the cat. I think just in the distance I can see this eye. Well, that's it, folks. That's the bridge. The Nanjing Eye. It's a solely pedestrian bridge. No cars allowed, just people. Apparently it's a little bit of a romantic spot, especially with the little heart there. But I am solo for this one, so no romance. But hopefully a good view, if I can figure out how to get up to the top. There's the view of the Nanjing kind of business district. Some apartments, and then this is the Eye. What are we not allowed to do on the Eye? No littering, roller skating, climbing, no throwing stuff into the water. Looks like on the far side of the river there's a whole bunch of residential construction going on. I am very unfamiliar with Nanjing, have only been here a matter of hours, but from what I gather, most of the stuff's on that side. That seems to be the CBD, where all the museums and mausoleums and all the cool stuff is over here. So I would imagine it's probably a lot cheaper to buy on that side of the river than on this side. I don't even know if that side has the subway lines. The subway map seems to be largely concentrated on this side as well. But I guess if it develops enough on that side, it'll get those kind of amenities as well. Now, interestingly, after seeing that little sign about the Youth Olympics back in 2014, I had a quick read up about this bridge. Apart from being pretty, which is kind of the main reason I came here for, it's the first purely kind of sightseeing bridge built across the Yangtze River. And yeah, they opened it on the same day as they opened the Olympics here in 2014, the Youth Olympics. To be honest, I hadn't even heard of the Youth Olympics. Shows my ignorance, but there you go. Right, well, that's the Nanjing Eye, folks. Before I head and get some dinner, let's take a quick seat as night falls and see what this sucker looks like once it's fully illuminated. And then it'll be food time, probably bedtime. Yeah. 哎，晚上这个桥会开灯吗？还是？
今天可能不开，明天就开了。
明天就开。
是礼拜四是吧？
哦哦。
礼拜五开。
就是哦。
礼拜六、礼拜天。
礼拜五周末哦，好的。
今天这个有点早。
好，那我明天要再来。
对，明天再来。
好好好，谢谢。Okay. I'm glad I asked that question. They said the lights are not going to be turned on today because it's only a Thursday. In that case, we can go get some dinner right now. This is Nanjing's duck dish. Salty duck. Served pretty much cold, so I'm glad I got some hot rice and veggies to go with it. But it's good. I prefer it to the duck blood noodles. Duck's quite a bony meat, so it might not be everyone's cup of tea. Well, folks, I'm back at the hotel. Day number 1 in Nanjing is done. I managed to try both of the dishes, the duck blood noodles and just now the salted duck. I can kind of see why the hotel proprietor said it doesn't really matter where you go to get the salted duck. I might be being a bit ignorant, but it seems to be salt plus duck. But it was pretty good. A little bit rich in terms of the overall saltiness. If you just eat mouthful after mouthful, you definitely want to mix things up. 46 kwai for a dish of some fried up lettuce and some duck. It's less than $7 US, so really can't complain. I think this is the end of day 1. Big day 2, so early to bed for now.